time also fell 2% in 2018. That's also a record low. What's the significance of that decline?
The total fertility rate is based on the age-specific birth rates that you observe in a given year. And based on those rates, we project how many children a woman would have, or a group of women would have, at the end of their reproductive life. And the value for 2018 was 1,728. And what we've been seeing over the course of time is a drop in birth rates for younger women, particularly teens, which declined 7% between 2007 and 2018, and a rise in the birth rates for older women. So there's this shift going on that is somewhat reflected in the total fertility rate.
As you look at the overall report here, what stands out to you?
Well, the one thing that really stands out is, I think, the continued decline in teen birth rates. They declined 7% between 2017 and 2018. The rate for 15 to 17-year-olds declined 9%. The rate for 18 to 19-year-olds declined 8%. For the overall teen birth rate between 2007 and 2017, they declined 8% per year, which is really just astounding.
How much do economics generally factor into the number of babies born? Because the birth rate declined when the Great Recession hit in 2008, and some thought maybe it would rebound along with the economy.
Well, there's a lot of factors that play into the decisions to have a child and start a family. Economics is certainly one of them. But if you look at over the long term, another factor was the changing socioeconomic position of women. As they went out to the workforce, pursued education, went out to the workforce, certainly was another factor in the general decline in the fertility rate.
Is there an ideal birth rate for a country like the United States right now?
Well, for comparisons, when it comes to the total fertility rate, people often look at the level of replacement, which is 2,100. Below that is considered below replacement. But I should point out that if you look at the trend in the general fertility rate or the total fertility rate over time, it does vary. And for example, if you look at the total fertility rate, as recently as 2006 and 2007, it was above replacement. So there's almost variation. Plus, there's all these shifts that are occurring within the age-specific birth rate, a decline in births to younger women, but a corresponding rise in births to older women. So things are shifting, and certainly it requires more detailed analysis to sort of look at the ramifications and try to see what these represent in terms of U.S. society.
But you wouldn't look at these numbers and see that it's a record low birth rate and say, well, in fact, even if Italy or Japan, which are having serious problems with that issue.
Immigration. So when you look at, for example, a total fertility rate, it's very low numbers, somewhat offset by immigration.
That's great. The statistician and the monitor at the CDC's National Center for Health Statistics. We'll link you to this report on the U.S. website here in Philadelphia. Brady, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're listening to Hear It Now.
Hillary and Julie Goodrich helped break the barrier for marriage equality. Their name became synonymous with gay rights. If you look at any interview that we've done, we've never talked about their drama. Amadi Cornish, 15 years later, they talk about their personal struggles and the latest on President Trump's new immigration tax that's after on all things considered.
6:30 on I'm Jack Lepioff. Trump's rolling out a new immigration proposal today to strengthen border security and revamp the green card system. The proposal will make it easier for people with college degrees and job offers to come to the U.S. rather than relatives of immigrants already in the country. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi called the bill condescending. And more state attorneys general are suing the maker of OxyContin over the opioid crisis. 45 states now suing Purdue Pharma, with suits from authorities in Iowa, Kansas, Maryland, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. They accuse the company of downplaying the risks. Environmental Protection Agency, the federal agency has $100,000 on improper premium class flights for him and his bodyguards. A report from the FAA Inspector General said they should consider trying to recoup that money. Wednesday.
At 2:19, Here and Now continues on WHYY.
Supporting WHYY, West Laurel Hill Cemetery and Funeral Home. West Laurel Hill is hosting It's a Green Thing Sustainability Fair, an event for those committed to bettering our environment in collaboration with the Lower Merion Conservancy. Saturday, June 15th, featuring sustainable vendors, live music, the return of the goats, and tours of Nature Sanctuary, certified by the Green Burial Council. For details and to participate as a vendor, westlaurelhill.com or lmconservancy.org.
British Foreign Minister Jeremy Hunt indicated today that the UK shares the U.S. assessment of a heightened threat from Iran. This follows the New York Times story citing intelligence that shows Iranian missiles on small boats in the Persian Gulf as the basis for the increased threat level. The latest details ahead this hour on Here and Now.
Funding for Here and Now comes from the listeners of WBUR Boston and Geico, celebrating over 75 years of providing auto insurance for drivers across America. More information on auto insurance available at geico.com or 1-800-947-AUTO. It's Here and Now. We recently joined a line of theatergoers at an early preview of the Broadway play Hillary and Clinton, a fictional account of the real-life Clintons.
I supported Hillary, and I supported Hillary and Bill, and I'm interested in what they have to say.
I actually have no idea what we're getting into. It's just, two people that are an American institution. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm kind of the same. I don't know what to expect, but big fans of the Clintons, and I love the cast. So
What if it's not entirely complimentary?
I'm a student of history, so, that's totally fine. Perspectives are important.
After the play, we all streamed out of Broadway's Golden Theater. So what did they think?
Dysfunction.
Are you supporters of the Clintons?
No.
So that's kind of how you imagine it.
Yeah, probably would, yeah.
Voted for Hillary, voted for Bill, but they're human. This is their life, and unfortunately, there's a lot of truth to what was in the show in some ways.
I think it's tragic.
Tragic, but also hilariously funny. For instance, when John Lithgow as Bill Clinton makes an entrance, all gleaming white legs in way too short running shorts, flinging himself back in a chair with a pizza box. But over the course of the play, the laughs subside. Hillary and Clinton is set in a hotel suite in New Hampshire during the 2008 primaries. Hillary Clinton, played by Laurie Metcalf, slowly realizing that the young Senator Barack Obama is overtaking her, torn between accepting the help of a husband who's a natural politician and wanting to kill him for what his indiscretions have cost her.
I sure as hell am not nostalgic for those moments. Like the moment when everybody found out that you were sleeping around, that moment when your inability to get certain things under control nearly cost you the entire race, when it fell on me to go out there and tell everybody what a good guy, what a good husband you were, how you were such a trustworthy fella.
Phew. It's a completely public performance, of course, but it feels like we're seeing Hillary and Bill in their most intimate offstage moments. Hillary and Clinton is the imagining of playwright Lucas Nath, who also wrote A Doll's House Part 2, in which Laurie Metcalf won a Tony. She's nominated in this play. We sat down with her and John Lithgow in John's dressing room. So let's get this out of the way. Laurie, you are not wearing a blonde wig in this. You, John, are not practicing a southern drawl. This is not an impersonation. But is there something that you each do that...
No, in fact, it's kind of the opposite. I'm trying not to channel the real Hillary in the performance. But I think it might be sort of an illusion for the audience that because they know who we're playing, or they have a sense of that we're Bill and Hillary, sometimes even in rehearsal, somebody would say, you looked just like her for 1 second.
But I gotta say, John, in your case, you wear those way too short shorts.
and you see it, you're nodding, and you sit back and you cross your legs. I feel like I've seen that.
Well, you have seen that. I've seen that in lots of photographs. In fact, when you asked that question, that jumped to mind. That's really the only thing I do that is very Bill Clinton.
He's sitting back in almost like a folding chair with the two short shorts, one leg crossed over the other,
yes.
you know, kind of man-spreading.
I sort of man-spread all over the place, as did he. I took a lot of persuading because I'm just naturally self-conscious, of course. But I did, out of deference to Joe Mantello, our fabulous director, I said, okay, I'll rehearse in the shorts. As soon as I rehearsed, it all made sense. I absolutely loved it. It was comical, but ultimately I found it quite vulnerable because I'm still wearing those silly shorts in some very serious moments of the show. And to me, it's heartbreaking at the end.
Well, before we get to the end, it's also very comical along the way. But Lori, when someone says to you, Hillary Clinton, would you like to play her? You say what?
I say yes because I want to play someone with that strength and wit and passion. That's how I think of her, and that's definitely how Lucas has written his play.
There's another element, which is exasperation. That feels like Laurie Metcalf to me. Like, you're looking around going, what is wrong with everyone else here?
Right.
Why?
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this play. Yeah, because Hillary in this version finds herself torn between Bill's idea of how she should run her campaign in 2008 and her campaign advisor, Mark Penn. And she is so discombobulated at the top because she's actually taken a great loss and didn't see it coming.
This is based upon the New Hampshire primary.
Right, in 2008, and she doesn't have her bearings right now.
How much of it is true? He barrels into New Hampshire when Mark Penn wanted him to stay away. We all remember how she welled up and had tears, and that really did happen, and he thought that was a good thing, and she did not. So how much of this is from the news?
I would say about 80%.
Is true or is made up?
It's true.
Who knows? I mean, the fact
Well,
that...
yeah, we don't know what they actually said to each other behind closed doors. No one knows that. That's all fabricated.
We know, for example, that there were late nights when they could be heard yelling at each other behind closed doors, but nobody knows what they were saying except the two of them. It's just a wonderfully imaginative act of hypothetical speculation.
And I was talking about the actual events that take place in the play.
Yeah. All of it, if it ain't true, it sure looks true. And people have just enough memory of those historical facts that it resonates as truth.
We'll talk more about her wanting so badly to be this person we all know she is. She's capable. And she's got this lug, no offense. And, you know, he may have been right, if in fact there's any truth to that he wanted her to be more vulnerable and more human.
Yes, Bill's advice to Hillary is to be a broken mess and to let people see the cracks and things that she's, as he puts it, ashamed of. And it makes her livid because she wants everything based on merit. And Bill explains to her, and I assume they've had this conversation, that people don't vote with their brains. Parts of together, John and I, which is extremely fun.
No, I know this version of you all too well. And if this version of you does to everyone else what it does to me, it's just gonna push people away.
Is that right? Is that how it works?
In my experience.
Your experience. Your experience.
You're such a great couple up there, you know, and you see it in the audience, people nodding knowingly. There is some of it that's just universal. It's a couple that's been together for a long time.
It's very much a marriage play, so that just as they are an imaginary version of the actual Bill and Hillary, they're an imaginary version of so many marriages. And, you know, what you say about Laurie and I as a partnership up on stage, we absolutely love working together. I don't think you can find a pair of actors who are more infatuated with theater.